Here from quantlabs.net. Today I am going to show you, just found out about this through the likes of Ernie Chan. Dr. Ernie Chan has told me about this package that's available for Python for FXCM forex trading. And I'm going to show you how to use some of the resources available in this package and to get you up and running with your forex broker. First of all, it's really important that people understand that FXCM does not take U.S. customers like all the others. Well, not all the others, but quite a number of them. And just wanted to let you know about that. So the first thing we got to do is algorithmic trading. We are using the Python, FXCM Python, FXCM Python package, and it's delivered on REST, and there's a wrapper for Python. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm not going to go into obviously teaching you Python here. I'll just show you how to get up and running. All right. So first things first is we have, as I said, this package here, the intro, and if you go into my interpreter here, a couple things. I'm using, let me just pull up another one here. Okay. Let me pull up another terminal here. So I'm using Python 3.64 on my Mac, okay? And what we're doing here is I use Python 3 and pip 3. So that's a package manager for Python. So in order to do this, I'm using pip install FXCM py here. I've already got it installed, but just for kicks. So you can see it's all been satisfied here. So that everything's been installed properly. Now, here's the part that gets a little hairy. So we have here our tokens. So when you go over to FXCM and FXCM.com, what you can do is you can go into a practice account, set it up, and I believe if you go under Trade Station is where I went. Actually, let me just show you where I'm thinking. Okay, so if you come under where'd I go? Okay, so if you come under here under the GitHub, and where you can get that is right here, GitHub. So github.com FXCM/FXCM repository. And what we're going to do here is, once you get into that, we want obviously the FXCM Pi. Now there's a Java. I would probably, if you're starting out, I'd probably stick with Python. It's an easy language. So first things first, this is where you got to go to create your demo account and get your token that you need. So in here, you'll see all the different ways to connect into Python, into FXCM. The Python wrapper is probably the easiest way you can get around that. You can see here you can use all these other popular methodologies to connect into Zipline, QS Trader, Quant Connect for the platforms. There's other ways. I've got my own course, as you know. So what we want to do is, let me think here, how did I do it? I think you just come under Python, and I think you have to come under open an account, but you want a practice account. Fill in all your details, however you want to get delivered, trade now, and what you'll get is in there, you will need to look for where to find the token. And once you get that, it's quite a lengthy number, probably 20 characters or so. What you'll need to do is, there's a number of ways to do it. So you can supply a variable as token and connect using this way. So let me just show you how to do it. There's a number of ways. Let me just clear this. So if I go to Python 3, the interpreter, and I install the package, the FXCM pack. So we do a typical. There's different ways to go about it. If I go back into here, into this FXCM Python package, we've done the install. Now there's numerous ways you can configure your file, the configuration file. So the first and easiest way is, in my case, you can do it either through Jupyter, or in my case, what I'm doing here to keep it really simple, just run Python 3 or Python, whatever your interpreter is. Just run import for the FXCM Py package, and here you'll need to enter in the token. So in this case, you go token equals whatever your token is, and then you continue along here to run these extra commands. So I'm not going to do that, but what they have set up is, if you go into the GitHub now, you can set up a configuration file. So if I quit here, show where my, so if I just go into my Python directory here, and FXCM. Okay, so here I've got my configuration file, which is exactly set up like this, and then I also run a log file on the interaction with FXCM. So what we can do in the configuration file is we just edit it, create it, and then we just put in these parameters. Now here for the log file, I just put in the current directory, which is just log_file equals either a period for the current file. That's because it's the name of the, and you also have to include the name of the log file. So I'll just call it log_level equals error, log file equals, and then no quotes. I just say fxcm.log, and then the other one here is just called axis_token, and then that token that you're going to retrieve, no different as if you were to put it here in the interpreter. So once you get all that set up, this is probably the hardest thing to set up, really. So when you rerun the interpreter, obviously you have to do the import FXCM Py. FXCM Py. There we go. In this case, I'm going to run that configuration file for the FXCM. And you only have to do this once every time you run the FXCM Py package. Now, it is kind of slow at the beginning, and it should connect. So now it's connected. How do I know? Well, we can run this, print all the instruments. Voila. So these are all the available instruments in FXCM currently. Okay. Well, the currency pairs, we've got some indexes. We also have some commodities. These are CFDs, and obviously these two are gold and silver. All right. So knowing that, let's check out some data so we know this kind of works. So now what we're going to do, I want you to understand that this data object is a data frame. Okay, it's a pandas data frame. So no different with other data frames that you may have seen me use. We can do a head and a tail. So here's our data. So here's our date, bid open, bid close, bid high, bid low, ask open, ask high, ask low, and then the tick quantities. So this is a tick data, it looks like, by the minute. Okay, so knowing that, we can also do the tail as well. Report back all the last, I think it's 10 or whatever the amount is. Here I'm not going to show you this to do the charting. Hopefully you'll see that, get that running either as Seaborn or Matplotlib, or in my case Chart Director that I use, which I kind of prefer, to be honest. So we've got all the basics running, which is good. And if you go back to my blog here, again, the title is Demo of FXCM Python Package for Forex Trading. So here we have more usage instructions. So we've gone over the connecting, streaming market data. I'm not going to go into the historical. It's pretty self-explanatory, but let me just show you. Right here. So server connection. We are able to do our usual connection. We can see continuing along in this particular server connection, see if that's the case, if it's the status of it, which is true. We can also get our account ID. Now, mine is just a demo account, so you're not going to go very far with that. Then we have a demo account, set a new default account. If you have open orders, I'll show you more detail of that. Obviously, we haven't done any orders yet. OCO orders, and I've already shown you the instruments. We do that. So going back to my blog post, which is now we're going to look at streaming market data, which is right here. Now, as I said, I'm not going to go into the historical data. It's pretty straightforward, but the status is that, as I showed before, we have the ability to have a data frame with columns of bid open, bid close, bid high, bid low, ask open to close, ask high, ask low, and tick quantity. But you'll notice here that it is by the minute. It's by the minute, as we hinted at. So we can set our frequency here by, I guess, candle data if we wanted for the bar data. So let me just try running that. And while we're here, this is for historical data. So let me just try running this. I just want to show you, confirm that this all works. We're going to get the hourly data on the Euro USD. And there you go. So that's all hourly, or is that? Yeah, that looks hourly. Okay. And if we want candle data, now this is 5-minute data. 5 1-minute bars. Okay. So nothing exciting. So there you go. 5-minute bars. And then the same data as before. Now we can specify starting a range on dates. So I'll just put this whole thing in here from July 15th, 2017 to August 1st, 2017. Get the candle period of daily, and then the range of the start and stop. Pretty straightforward. Now, I've not gotten this far before. I think I might not like all of that at once. Start date. Oh, I gotta get the import some modules here. Okay, so we gotta import these two. So we gotta import the pandas and date time for it to be seen. So now we are going to do, previous one here. Okay, so there you go. So here's our date range of 7/16 all the way up to August 1st with the standard columns that we've already highlighted. Data visualization, it's not going to work. Not my interpreter. Get candles. Again, we can show that if we want it. So that's all the historical data. So now, back to my blog, I'm going to show you the streaming data, which is this one. All right, so we've got all our standard packages and modules imported already into this interpreter session. So we're going to subscribe to Euro, US dollar, get our subscribe. I think there's a bug here because I couldn't get this working for some reason. Oh, and subscribe to that pair. Now we can get the status. It's very simple, much simpler than other ones that you've seen me work with. Get prices. So this will get the last set. Looks like last. What's the frequency on this? This will tick data. It looks like. Then we get the last price again. Tick data, bid ask, high and low with the timestamp. Okay. And data type is float 64. So I can unsubscribe. So if I try to get that same pair, because I'm no longer subscribed, probably blank. Yep, blank. Okay, I'm not going to go into the callback methodologies, so you can just call them back every time something comes in and print it out. But I think that's pretty straightforward. All right, so the next step is I'm not going to worry about data tables, and then I'm going to move into market orders and entry orders. So what we're doing now is we're going to get all the available open positions, which shouldn't be any because we haven't placed any yet. So we'll place the first one here, which is a sell order of 100 on the Euro USD. Takes a while for the server to respond. Now remember, it's using REST. So now we go order. Now we're doing a buy. US Japanese yen 200. So now we're able to see our open positions with the full data. As you can see here, we got the visible P&L. That's really important. I find date stamp, how when at the price that was opened, gross P&L, currency, latest close, and then our account information and the quantity. Okay, so let me just see if, okay, well, we're losing now. Okay, so now we are going to place the actual order, I believe. Place a more complex order. This is a more, let me just enter it in. Let's see what happens here. It's much, much easier than other like Java or whatnot. So we have placed our order on the US Japanese yen. It's a buy, true rate. So this is our rate that we want to put in. Is it in pips? Yes. Here's the amount that we buy in, time in force, good to cancel, order type at market, and the limit of $1.20 or 120. Okay, so as we know about data frames, so if I go back to get all the open positions, we'll see 3. So all the data I've shown before. Now, the one thing you'll note on this particular row is the trade ID. Okay, seems to work pretty good. So what we got to do is get open position and then highlight the column, or sorry, the row that we want. So obviously that's trade ID, this guy right here. And see, it pretty well works right here. Okay, so we can now close the all the trades, get closed trade IDs. So I don't think these have been closed yet. So those are all the closed ones on the account because I've done some previous testing. So we are going to change the market order. So we're going to do this on the previous one. So we have a new trade ID. Okay, that's the previous one. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the trade stop limit. Trade is in pips, false. Is stop, no, and change the rate to 115. Boom. Pretty simple. So if we look at the open positions again, should be able to see that change. So that was our second one on, I believe, this one right here. Yeah, so here's our limit. Okay, so now we can close the positions, or close our trade ID. So we're going to close up the trade ID, the last one on 1,000. Yeah, so that's our amount. So we're going to fully close the position on the amount, trade ID, and again, we can look at our overall positions, what's still open. So our third one that we did before is no longer available. It's no longer listed because it's closed, right? So we can also close all positions for that particular pair in case we have to panic or something for whatever reason. Get open position, so we should only have one more position open, which we do. Okay, so let's do a close all. Okay. Now, when we do a get open position, there will be nothing. It'll be blank. So that's the case. So we've closed them all. Okay, so let's see what all our closed positions are. Here's our P&L, how they did on each position. And the gross P&L, they're all big losers. And the timestamp of when they're closed. And when they're open. Okay, so here's the class for the FXCM _open _ position. So let's see what's going on here. We have our open position, nothing. So we can create a new market sell order, Euro USD 100 quantity. Okay, so let's see what our open position is. Now, this is just the definition of the object name. To get open, one can use open position. So I think we only have one column in here. So we're only going to get the one row, the first row, and the only position. And we're going to assign it the trade ID because that's what we're asking for here by getting the open trade ID. So now we can open a new position using that trade ID. So if I type in position, here's our position, but we have to print it out. Now remember, this is the data type. So here's our position information that we had before. Okay, so we can get amount, which I believe would be here. I'm sure this will be further explained, obviously, in the documentation, which is pretty simple. Right here, the API documents will explain all that, but these are just simple examples, and they're pretty good examples, if you ask me. Okay, so we've done that. Position, so we've printed the position. Okay, so we've presented the amount. We can get the currency pair, get underscore currency, and then we can position close. Boom. And prefer the other way, the previous methodology. Then we have nothing left open because we've closed it. All right, so that's that. The next section, back to the blog, is this one. We're going to do entry orders. Now remember, we're doing all of this in Python. Makes life a lot easier. Okay, so now we're doing entry orders. So what we're going to do here. Okay, so we are going to get all our current orders. probably none available. If there were, present the same thing that we've seen before. Okay, let me just create one. Placing entry order, market order, sorry. So I'll just do one here. What was before, go back to entry order, see what kind of entry or get orders we can see. Previously it was blank, still blank. Get order, I did con get order. Oh, I think, I'm sure I glossing this over. Market order, okay. So we get our order, connection open. We'll put a con create market sell order. When I do it this way. Okay, so we have available. Get open positions. We've done this. So we have two positions on. The question is, this is a different type of entry order. Get orders. Get order position. Get open positions. Let's see the difference. After connecting, FX collects all existing orders, list or data frame. So we have connect get orders. But it's coming back blank. Is this a bug? No. So if this was get order, no. If I put in an order, no. Get order ID. Placing entry orders. This may help. Create entry order. Okay. Okay, so we have a position. I think it's the same as the other brokers. Orders and positions. Let me think here. So we've got placing. Entry orders are placed via the create for a detail. So there's a difference between orders and positions, and I'm not going to get into, but it's probably similar to another broker I've worked on. Usually it's an order, but you can have multiple positions within an order. So here's our order. So we're doing the same thing as before. Okay. So if I was to do, this should work. Yeah, which we did. And then we're going to get as a list. So this comes up as, there we go. So there's our list that we were wanting. So we got our order placed. So now we're going to change our order. So we're going to get an order ID. Okay. So we know our order ID is that. Okay, so here's the details of the order. So we have order ID equals that order ID. Is stop in pips? Yes. Is limit in pips true? Limit 110. Stop at -1. Have to look into what this -1 means. If it means that's the order, stop order. But that again will be in the API documents. We're just testing the, seeing if this works or not. I'm sure I forgot something here. So we're changing the order. Okay, so we've changed the order and saying error. So what we got here. Data response error, FXCMY, FX reports on error, session ID, request, order price did not pass validation. Okay, I'm going to assume it does some kind of order. So, okay, there's our order info. So we can delete an order. Get order ID. So is there one? Okay, so there's only one. So we will try to delete the last order ID, which looks like we did. This may come up with nothing. Yep, nothing. Okay, and we can track all the old orders, it looks like. Yeah. Yeah, it looks okay, that message there. Is it? Well, there's no error message. Okay, so that's pretty well it. So it's a lot more straightforward than any other broker I've seen. I'm not going to go into OCO orders. One cancels the other. It's like a chain of orders that you can have. But I'm not going to get into that. It gets a little complicated when you're starting out. But you can definitely do everything in Python now with the broker if you want to use FXCM, which is kind of cool. All right, so that will and should simplify if you don't want to use any of the other brokers I got going on listed. Talk to you later.